Well, hey, friend, Jennifer here. Welcome back to the podcast. I believe this is podcast episode number 311, and I am going totally rogue today. This was not the topic of the podcast we were going to do. I have no podcast notes in front of me, so I'm just shooting from the hip, y'all. So stay tuned. You know what I'm going to do? First, I'm going to pull up my microphone. But can you hear me now? Okay, hopefully that sounds better. Also, for those of you that ever would like to use your voice to start a podcast, you can always go and look at what my podcast mic. I get, questions sometimes like, what do you use for a mic? Go and Google Jennifer Allwood Amazon store. There is a section for business tools, and my podcast mic is right there. It doesn't cost that much to start a podcast, And some of you have a message that the world needs. And it's time that you use your voice. And it's time that you try to figure out how in the year 2023, you're going to actually start a podcast. In fact, you know what, Caitlin, let's do a podcast on starting a podcast. And we're getting ready to hit 5 million downloads. It might be time to do that. So yeah, some of you have a message and then next year, 2023, it is time. You have bit your lips. You have stopped because of fear. You have considered for years and years and years. I distinctly see the Lord show me somebody's been for 3 years. You've been saying you've been going to start a podcast for 3 years. You've been saying, I'm going to start a podcast for 3 years. You've been thinking about it, trying to figure out how to do it, trying to figure out when the right time is. Listen, it's never going to be the right time. Get it started. There are people in the world who need the message that you have that God has put inside of you. Go where the people are. We're to be fishers of men. Where men are. They are on the internet. They are either on social media or listening to a podcast. Go where people are, meet them where they're at. The gifts and the knowledge that God has given you, it is not just for you. Somebody else needs it. Quit being stingy. Oof, preaching already. All right. So hi, Jennifer here, podcast number 311. Okay. So listen, I was going to talk about procrastination today. And instead, I want to talk about a couple of questions that I got on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram at just my Jennifer Allwood business account, not my Jennifer Allwood home, but on occasion I'll put up a question box where I'm like, how can I help you? What do you need? And I got a question last night that I thought was interesting. And then I got a follow-up one from somebody else today that was kind of about the same thing. Both of them are about confidence and courage. And I want to talk about this really quickly. I'm also feeling just a little what's the word? Well, let me ask you this, mamas, if you've got any mamas that are listening to this podcast, you know how sometimes you just need to remind people, like your kids, you just need to remind them like, hey, I'm mom. and there are expectations that I have of you. And so we can have fun and we can love and laugh and all the things, but other times mom's going to need to remind you that there are still expectations, right? And so we're going to have like just this tiny little mom moment. I'm not trying to mom you, by the way, but I am just putting on like my coaching pants, my mom pants, whatever you want to call them, because if all I do is tell you how wonderful you are and say, go girl, go, rah, 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 like that helps you not. Anybody can cheerlead you. And I love cheerleading you, but also I need to give you this dose of truth because sometimes it is the truth. Well, not sometimes, always is the truth that's going to set you free. But sometimes you've got to hear the truth in a different way to shake some things up inside of you. Okay. So I'm going to come and try to shake some things up inside of you today because too many of you, we have gotten to the end of 2022. Your business has not changed. Therefore, your life has not changed. You're in the same place at the end of the year that you were in the beginning of the year, and you can't figure out why. And there are some things that I want to share with you. And I'm going to, today and upcoming weeks, I want your business to be radically different next year. And I'm not trying to get you into a coaching program, by the way. I that is not at all, because the thing is, until you're ready, you will never join my coaching group. Until you are actually serious and willing to make the sacrifice and do the thing you're terrified to do, it doesn't matter how much I try to convince you to get in one of my groups, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. But I want to talk today about courage, okay? I want to talk about courage. Here is a text, or not text, but one of those DMs that I got in my question box yesterday. Okay. So for the sweet, precious woman who sent this to me, listen, I don't say that sarcastically. You are sweet and you are precious. And thank you for letting me use your question as an example, because you are not alone. There are thousands of women who follow me who are in this same exact place. And here's all she said. It wasn't even really a question. My question box said, ask me any question. And she said, pray that I have more confidence to do what I need to do. And I was like, oh, snap. Okay.
First of all, I'm not going to pray you have confidence. The Bible actually says we're to be confident in one thing. We're to be confident in the Lord. I am so convinced that in America, we have put so much emphasis on confidence. You go through any grocery store, the front of a People magazine, the front of any other magazine, insert name here that I do not actually even read. And there's articles on confidence, how to be more confident. And it's such a pile of doo-doo, you guys. I have an entire chapter in Fear is Not the Boss of You that I wanted to title Confidence is a Crock of Crap. And my publishing company is like, Jen, just a reminder, this is a reminder, we're a Christian company and you can't say crock of crap. But you know what? So I toned it down for the book, but on my podcast, I'm going to say crock of crap. Listen, you don't need confidence. Confidence is unnecessary. It's one of the most overrated emotions. It's a feeling. Everybody wants to feel confident. But you only get confident after you do something. You probably stink at it. You do something. You probably stink at it a little less. You do something, realize, gosh, I didn't die. You do something, you get a little better. You do something, you start getting a little bit of swagger. Hey, I'm getting a little better at this. Then you're confident. Then you feel confident. Listen, I rarely feel confident, and I rarely ever am looking to feel confident before I do anything. Like, confidence isn't even on my radar. It is like shocking to me that so many people want to be confident. Here's what I said. You don't need to be confident. You need to be courageous. Come on. You need to be courageous, because when you have courage to do something that you're scared to do, and then you do it again, you're scared to do it and you do it again. And then you do it again. Then you start to build up some confidence. So then you can rely on experience, because see, all confidence is it's basically like you're reaching backwards and you're going, okay, I've done this thing, so I know I'm not going to die and it's not going to kill me. That's really all confidence is. I know I can walk into a room of people I do not know, and I'm probably not going to pass out and die. And I probably can hold my own on a conversation, and I can probably come out okay. Like, that's all confidence is it's being able to go back and like dig backwards and pull on experience to affect your feeling today. You don't need to be confident before you do something in business. In fact, you are not going to feel confident. Like, it's like when we look at our little sweet little toddlers, they're 10 months, 11 months, 12 months old, and they're starting to walk. How can they feel confident about walking, you guys? They've never walked before. You would never look at your baby and go, you know what? You need a little bit of confidence. No. What do you say to a baby? Come on, darling. You can do it. Come on, babe. Come on. Come here. Come to mama. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Be brave. Come on, be courageous. You can do it. Come on. You never look at them and tell them to be confident. Why are you thinking that you need confidence to do anything on this side of heaven? You don't. You need courage. Listen, I'm going to tell you what you need. You need two things: courage and obedience. Write that down. 1, courage. 2, obedience. That is your winning combination. I want you to go look up the Bible scripture in Joshua 1:9. You do not need confidence. You need to be courageous, and you need to be way more concerned about being obedient than you do about feeling confident. Okay. The second DM that got my blood pressure up today. And by the way, it's been a day of having my blood pressure up. I'm not going to lie. There's been some cray up in this hizzy. And so Mr. Allwood is out of town. So I am single, parenting for the next couple of days. And, there's always the wheels sometimes fall off the bus when, your co-partner in bus driving is not around. So anyhow, feeling a little snarky, feeling a little elevated anyway. I'm going to read you another DM that I got from another precious person. Okay. My DM box said, or my question box said, ask me any question. And she said, the courage to launch on Facebook. I've been running a business for 2 years, but I've never made it public to my friends and family. Oh my gosh, you guys, I literally, I just cannot. If you, precious person, are listening to my podcast right now, please send me a DM on Instagram and please explain your logic to me, because here's what I said back. Wow. Why are you so afraid of what your friends and your family will think? Because listen, if you don't launch and you don't grow a Facebook page and you end up going broke, Well, they're going to have some thoughts about that too. Like literally, they're going to have thoughts about what you do and what you don't do. They're going to have thoughts about what you do and what you don't do. Here's the second part of what I said. Note, when your fear of man, and that's what that is fear of man that the Bible talks about, is stronger than you having a holy reverence and a holy fear of God, you are never going to reach your destiny. Be courageous, friend. I love you. That's what I said to a total stranger on Instagram. Okay, let me read that one more time. When your fear of man is stronger than your holy reverence and holy fear of God, you are never going to reach your destiny. Listen, if you are so afraid of what your friends and family are going to think about you starting a business online that you haven't done it for 2 years, honestly, like you need to examine, are you cut out for business? You need to examine that, because all business is trying stuff you've never done before, being scared and doing it anyway, trying things and seeing what works, learning something new, getting out of your comfort zone. That is what business is, over and over and over and over. And by the way, if you have friends and family that are not supportive of you stepping into that role, maybe you need to look for some different friends and family. Maybe you need to create some boundaries. Maybe you need to get in my life coaching group where we talked about boundaries all last month. Because those aren't your people if they are not going to support you. But my guess is you're just afraid of failing in front of them. And if your fear of failure is stronger than your holy fear of God, because he has deposited a talent into you, go read the story of the talents. That would scare the heck out of me. I don't want to bury my talent and not use it. Go read what the Lord said to the people who did not use the gifts that God gave them, went and buried it, didn't do anything with it, hoarded it, kept it to themselves. Listen, we have got to somehow be more concerned about doing the thing that God's asking us to do, of using the gifts that God's asking us to use, than we are of what people are going to think. Because listen, some of you are sitting on businesses that are just like, you're literally sitting on a business that is the answer to your family's problems. It is not only the answer to your family's problems. I'm literally going to cry for somebody right now, but it is the answer to your children's problems. And you're scared of what people are going to think. My Lord, have mercy. Be more scared about your children paying the price for your lack of courage. Be more scared about your grandchildren paying the price for your lack of courage. Scared about what people will think. There is no time for that, ladies. We are in 2022. You are a grown up. I love you all so much. I do. I love you too much to let you play so small and to let you continue to just sit on those gifts and have that spirit of hand wringing. What are they going to think? What are they going to think? What's God going to think? What's your kids going to think? What's your spouse going to think? Somebody else thinks. Man, I don't know. Like I want to make sure that, Lord, just keep me in check here, because I have to create in me, Lord, make sure I have a pure heart. Create in me a pure heart. I want to make sure I have a pure heart. But this is something I have never struggled with. I haven't. At the beginning of my business, when I had people talking about me on the internet and what I was going to do, I mean, yep, I got into some good counseling. Yep, it kept me stuck for a moment, but it was a moment. Okay, we're not talking years. It was a moment where I had to really get my head right, where I had to really talk to myself off of the ledge. Jen, you know, you got this thing. God gave you this gift. You have an inkling that it could go somewhere. Are you going to let what those people are thinking and saying dictate your future? Or are you going to use the God-given gifts that you have been given from your daddy in heaven, who only gives good gifts? Are you going to use those for his glory and the good of your family financially? What the choice is yours. And that's what I say to some of you today. And man, this could be the most strongly worded podcast that I think I've ever done. But listen, we're getting close to the end of the year here. And in the words of my father, that theologian, I'm kidding. Some of you got to crap or get off the pot. I mean, seriously, it is well past time for you to keep thinking about it, mulling it over. I'm scared. I'm scared. Who cares? Do it anyway. You got people who need you. You know what I'm scared does? It just focuses on you. Any of you ever watch that Joyce Meyer sermon where she was like acting like a robot? What about me? 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 That's what it makes me think about. I'm scared. I'm worried what people are think. I want to feel confident. It's all I-centered. Listen, take your eyes off of yourself. There is somebody else that needs you to do the thing that God's asking you to do so they can get their freedom too. And I'm going to leave you with that today because I want to know, and you can show up in my DMs on Instagram, tag me. I would love this. Who's losing because you refuse to do it afraid? Somebody is. Somebody is always losing when you are too afraid to do the thing that God is asking you to do. Are you okay with that? I'm not going to let you do that. All right, friends. Whoo! Share this on the Instagram. Share this with a friend who needs to hear it, who's been sitting on an idea for years. I love you so much. And I mean that. I mean that. I love you. And I don't want you to continue staying stuck and thinking you've got to feel confident, being scared of what people will think. There is no more time for that. Okay. We are big girls. We are fully capable of doing things that feel big, hard, and scary. I love you. I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.